In this video, we'll talk about what is consulting, the reality no one tells you. And if you're watching this video, you've probably heard people talk about Mckinsey, BCG and Bain. These prestigious consulting firms that everyone wants to join. But here's the honest question you're probably asking. What do consultants actually do all day? And why do companies pay millions for their advice? Here's the thing no one wants to admit. Most people talking about consulting, even people in consulting, can't clearly explain what the job actually is. They'll say vague things like, we solve complex business problems or we provide strategic advice. Okay, but what does that mean? But here's what I am going to do differently in this video. I'm going to break down exactly what consulting is in simple terms. Why billion-dollar companies hire 25-year-olds to advise their CEOs, and most importantly, the full reality of what it's like to be a consultant. By the end of this video, you'll understand consulting better than 90% of people who actually work in that industry, and you'll know whether it's the right path for you or not. By the way, I am Kashish Malhotra, co-founder of GradNext and an ex-BCG consultant. I've helped hundreds of candidates break into top consulting firms like Mckinsey, BCG and Bain. So with that, let's dive in. Alright, let's start with the basics. What is consulting? At its core, consulting is simple. You are the expert people hire when they want to solve a problem. Think of it like this. Your laptop breaks, you call a tech expert. Your company is bleeding money, you call a consultant. But management consulting, that's a different beast entirely. Management consulting is when companies hire external brains, that's you, to solve their most critical business problems. We are talking about questions like, should we acquire our competitor or build our own technology? How do we enter the Chinese market? Why are we losing $500 million a year and how do we actually stop it? Now, here's the question everyone asks. Wait, these companies are billion-dollar companies. They have thousands of smart people. They have decades of experience. Why would they hire or pay $2 million to $10 million for a consulting project with people who know nothing about their industry? It seems counterintuitive, right? But there's a method to this madness. Companies hire consultants for 4 very specific reasons. One, fresh perspective and objectivity. When you work inside a company for years, you develop biases. You become emotionally attached to certain ideas, certain people, certain ways of doing things. It's not about intelligence, it's about human psychology. Here's a simple example. You know, when you lose your keys, you spend 20 minutes looking everywhere, you're stressed, you're frustrated. Then your friend walks in, looks around for 30 seconds and says, hey, aren't those your keys right there on the counter? That's what consultants do. They walk in with zero investment and zero assumption about how things have always been done. This matters because companies often know what the problem is. They're just too close to see it clearly or too afraid to make a tough decision that needs to be made. Sometimes the CEO needs to shut down a division that's losing money, but the division was started by the founder 30 years ago. The internal team can't objectively recommend killing it. There's too much emotion. A consultant can walk in and say, hey, this needs to go there. Here's the data. They're the bad cop when tough decisions need to be made. Reason 2, pattern recognition across industry. Here's what makes consultants uniquely valuable. Cross-industry experience. Let's say you're working for a bank trying to improve their customer experience. Your banking executives have spent their entire careers in banking. They know banking inside out, but they only know banking. A consultant who's worked with retail companies, airlines and hotels can say, you know what, the way Marriott handles customer loyalty would work perfectly for your credit card program. This is called cross-pollination of ideas and it's incredibly powerful. They take best practices from one industry and apply them to another. Your competitors are looking at other banks for inspiration. You are looking at Amazon, Apple, Tesla and bringing those insights to you. Mckinsey has worked with over 2,000 companies across 130 countries. When you hire them, you are not just hiring smart people, you are accessing decades of accumulated knowledge and pattern recognition that no single company can ever develop. Reason 3, specialized expertise and methodologies. Consulting firms invest millions in developing proprietary frameworks, research, and methodologies that companies can't build themselves. Think about digital transformation. It's complex, expensive, and most companies have done it once. Mckinsey has done it 500 times. They know exactly which implementation approach works for different company sizes, which technology vendors are reliable, what are common failure points, and how to avoid those $50 million mistakes. They have built proprietary benchmarking databases. So when you ask, are our costs too high, they can tell you exactly how they compare to 200 similar companies in that industry. You can't Google that, you can't build that internally. It takes decades. This is why companies pay premium rates. You're buying institutional knowledge that would take you 20 years to develop on your own. Reason 4: bandwidth and dedicated focus. Here's the reality. Most companies are running at full capacity. Their employees are busy with their day jobs, running operations, managing teams, hitting quarterly targets. They can't just stop everything for 6 months to work on a massive strategic project. And if they try to do it on the side, it'll probably take 2 years and probably fail because nobody has the dedicated time and focus. Consultants provide a dedicated team that works full time on your project. Nothing else, no distraction, no competing priorities. Just 100% focus on solving your specific challenge. Plus this forcing function. When you pay $5 million for a project, executives pay attention, meetings happen, decisions get made, things move, internal projects can drag forever, but because there's no urgency, no external commitments. Consultants create urgency. Here's something consulting firms won't admit. Sometimes companies hire consultants to validate the decision they've already made. A CEO wants to pursue a merger, but the board is skeptical. So they hire Mckinsey to do an analysis. Mckinsey comes back and says, yes, this merger makes strategic sense. Now the CEO has the external validation from a respected firm to convince them. Or sometimes companies hire consultants to be the fall guy. If a major restructuring fails, management can say, well, McKinsey recommended it, shifting some of the blame externally. It's cynical, but it happens. This is the political reality. Think of consultants as specialized problem solvers with 3 key advantages: objectivity without internal politics, pattern recognition across industries, and dedicated bandwidth to execute complex projects. They're not smarter than your employees. They don't know your business better than you do, but they bring something you can't develop internally: an outside perspective combined with experience of solving similar problems hundreds of times across different companies and industry. Companies pay millions for this because they solve problem worth billions. That's the fundamental economics of consulting life. If this video helped you, hit subscribe and drop a comment. Does consulting sound right to you? What excites you or concerns you the most? And if you want more content on breaking into consulting, let me know. I'm here to help you make informed career decisions. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.